comes to the movie Mickey 17, I'm going to be 100% honest with you and say I really enjoyed this film. Firstly, from a story basis, I found it hooking all the way through, especially when we're just learning about Mickey Barnes and how he got himself into this predicament in the first place. And I really enjoyed how they build up the world. They do a great world building story as well, just learning about how the world became like this and why he and so many others were deciding to flee Earth as well. I really enjoyed the film from a humour point of view as well, whilst it is mainly dialogue based, which really had me laughing a lot. I also enjoyed the slapstick humour that is thrown in as well for good measure, and it really did deliver. When it comes to the acting, I thought Robert Pattinson did an amazing job, not only performing as Mickey 17 but as Mickey 18 as well, and really showing the difference between these two multiples, where Mickey 17 is a bit more timid, a bit shy, and doesn't like to speak out. We see Mickey 18 on the other being a polar opposite. He's more angry towards others and Mickey himself. He's angry at the establishment. He's very much more anti-authoritarian than Mickey 17 is, and he's not afraid to speak his mind or take action that Mickey 17 would be. Mark Ruffalo did a great performance as the antagonist of the film, that being Marshall. He gave off a lot of Trump vibes with his mannerisms as well as his voice inflections. Whether that was on purpose or not, I'll never know, but it was very interesting to see. And then the relationship with him and his wife reminded me of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, and how she would, in a sense, control him throughout this film, and pushing a lot of her ideas onto him to push out, as obviously he is the figure, but she is the one controlling said figure. I really enjoyed the theme of class and status in this film. We see that with Marshall, who is somewhat representing the upper middle class as well as being a politician, and he is ruling this ship to an extent with an iron fist, making sure that people are doing a particular thing when it comes to calories and following certain rules. We also see that everyone else, to him in his eyes, are servants, and they can either be very loyal and get the carrot, or if they go behind his back or say their honest opinion of him, they get the stick. And no one else gets the stick worse than Mickey himself, who I honestly think he is treated the worst on this ship, as even though he signed up to be an expendable, he is treated with any lack of humanity, having to be on a calorie deficit, which I believe everyone else is, but he is the only one to be publicly shamed if he even attempts to go above his calories. And then, yes, he signed up for this job, but the experiments they put on him are horrific. They treat him with no empathy or humanity, and even when he is not experimenting willingly, he is being tricked into experiments without his knowledge or consent, and he can't even speak out against it as he is afraid of dying. Another theme that I believe they portrayed in this film is the theme of comparing the creatures that we see in this film, the creepers, to migrants in reality. As when we see them landing on this planet, they find and discover these creatures, but because they don't speak like them, because they look different to them, the upper middle class automatically see them as a threat, call them verbal insults, and demand the eradication of these creatures later on, planning to go into an all-out war with these creatures only because they look different and speak different to them. They have not caused any harm towards any humans. There was one situation, but it was a misconstrued situation. They didn't plan or purposely injure a human being. They actually saved a particular human, but they are not having or hearing any of it. And I think correlations between how these creatures and creepers are represented, you can see that with the way the media purposely attack migrants when coming to other countries, not just in the UK but in the US as well. And the last thing that I really truly loved about this film, the theme of love was quite beautiful. As at first I just saw it as a plot device for Mickey, but then as we go into this film we really see that the care and love these two characters have for one another, where she is very much protective of him but also shows him so much humanity that so many people on this ship refuse to give him because he has signed up for this job, and so they don't feel like he deserves any of that kindness they would give to the other people, which is really horrible. But it's really nice to see that she honestly cares for him, and even when going through these experiments she's willing to put her job on the line and possibly her own life on the line just to show him some kindness and humanity. It's quite really beautiful to see. Now when it comes to the ending of this film, I'll be honest, it was entertaining as hell. I really enjoyed seeing Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 trying their best to make sure a war between the creepers and the humans does not happen. We see Mickey 17 doing his best to negotiate with the creepers, persuading them that not to go to war, it would be a bad situation. And then we have Mickey 18 on the other hand really going after the humans, specifically Marshall, and making sure that he will not cause any stupid decision that starts a war between said people. When it comes to the actual ending, it's nice to see Mickey 17 learning from his clone counterpart and is able to put all these thoughts and worries of what if situations out of his mind and finally feeling a bit more confident in being himself and getting this respect of his other colleagues and treated as such. Now when it comes to criticisms, I only have two of them. The first being, I did feel Stephen Yeun, who is great in this film, doesn't get much screen time. He is a great comedic counterpart, yet he doesn't get the screen time he deserves, which is such a shame as what we get is really good. But then on the second criticism is, I felt there were some plot points that were thrown in which I just felt was so unnecessary and didn't really move the story along. For example, there is a side plot about a debt collector coming to find Mickey and Tymo, and this is introduced so late in the film that we're so hooked into the main story that this plot is so unnecessary and we don't really care about it. And then they wrap that plot up towards the end when they're doing the whole wrap up of the ending, and I just felt this was so not needed. And if you actually were to take that entire plot that they've put in and remove it, it would have no consequence to the main plot of the film. It would change nothing, really just showing the pointlessness of that particular plot. Overall, I really did enjoy this film, not only because it's very entertaining and funny as well, but it feels very new and different to what was mainly out there. And it's just such a shame that it's becoming such a box office bomb. And because it's also a comedy and bombing, we're never going to see a comedy get such a big budget like this again, which is such a shame as it feels so new. And I really enjoy the fact that this film takes so many risks and it's not even part of a particular franchise as well. With all that being said though, is this film good? I'm going to be honest and say it's great. Rating wise, it's an 8 out of 10. Now would I rewatch this? The answer is yes. From a comedy point of view, of course I'm rewatching it. From the metaphors we see, of course, the action and just the hooking story, there's so much to love about this film that of course I'm going to go back and rewatch it. When it comes to recommendations, the only real thing that I thought that would be a slight similar thing to this was the TV show Living With Yourself. It was a Netflix TV show with Paul Rudd where he is cloned and we see the two interact and they're very different. One's very happy, the other's quite miserable, and it's just a really entertaining, mysterious type of show, and it reminded me of how Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 acted and got on with. But when it comes to other recommendations, Robert Pattinson, fantastic in this film, and Mickey 18 specifically reminded me of his performance in The Batman, especially when it gets towards the latter half and he's just taking action upon himself, and it just reminded me of The Batman if he was a bit more anti-authoritarian, which honestly I would love to see. He doesn't need the mask, He just needs a gun. And then Stephen Yeun, who I talked about, whilst I do think he was very entertaining in this, his best performance in my eyes will always be the TV show Beef. He is fantastic in it. Not only is he funny, but he shows a lot of emotion in that show as well. Those are my recommendations. This has been my review for the movie Mickey 17. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. But most importantly, thank you and have a nice day.